Okay, we're going for the recording. Why do I record it? Because there's some people who won't make it, but I want to make sure they see it. Let's see. When I say by you're the boss, I'm not going to keep track of you guys. You know, if you're not showing up, then it's going to be clear. But what I do want to do, and you'll see, if you don't show up, then I make you respond to 2 or 3 people. You know, if you're not here, if you're dynamically participating, you get the benefit of just responding to 1 person. But if you're not here, then I'm going to make you respond 2 points per person. And it turns out they retain almost as much stuff as if they were actually in class. But then they have to watch this hour and a half, which reminds me, who's my timekeeper, please? Who's going to keep my time for me? What, nobody? Come on, graduate students, people should be. The purpose of the timekeeper is to tell me it's time to stop talking in 5 minutes so I can wrap up in 5 minutes. Can somebody do that for me? Thank you, Barry. Okay, Joy, you're the first one, and then you take the first assignment. Next is, if you guys can't make it, my only requirement is this. If you text me and say, you know what, I can't make it to the class. If you text me before class, I don't even remember I won't remember that you even were absent. But if you keep texting me, you can't make it to class, then we'll have a little sidebar. We'll say, hey, what's up? What can we do to get you into the class? But if you text me after the class, then I'm going to say, what? Were you just went partying and the party ran too long or something? Next is, my whole idea is this. This class, like I said in the video, is just a bunch of tools. I will have this, I'll hand you, there'll be a big fat tool right here at the end of the day. It's a tool, you'll be able to use it. Here's another tool you'll get to be able to use. I think I said that in the video, didn't I? And then I want you, for the brief period of these 10 meetings and these assignments, I really do want you to try to use the tool and to put them in your little teacher toolbox. And then at the end of class, you could throw them all away if you don't think, but if you use them, at least you know that there is a tool to do certain things, to try to get through to certain kids, to sort of support certain kids. I have probably, having read everything you guys have sent me to this point, have never seen a class so unified in empowering students. And pretty much that's what this class was set up for. That's what I'm saying. I can teach Hawaiian cultural things, but if you can't use them, you know, if it's just kind of cool and nifty and you can talk to your other Hawaiian studies buddies, then that's not useful. To me, it's a waste of my time. It's certainly a waste of your time. I will never, ever, as best as I can, never waste your time. The other thing is this. What I need you guys to do is jump into the hypotheticals. Jump into this idea. Think really about what I'm talking about. Ask questions. I call it my hypothetical canoe. We're all going to jump in this canoe. We're all going to journey this path. We're all going to have to paddle with our own particular talents. And in 10 weeks, we'll be done. We'll laugh. You won't believe what you'll learn, or some of the cool tools that you guys will have. I know that some of you guys were kind of a little bit groaning. I feel like I'm already talking too much and probably too fast. Let's see. Let's just, anybody got any questions? Oh, the one thing they require me to require of you, that was kind of weird. So, okay, if you're going to teach this online class, you have to require this one thing. It's called a signature project. You guys know what those things are?
Yeah.
Yeah. Said with robust enthusiasm.
Yeah.
So this is the thing. I want you guys to do what you want to do for your signature project. If it's sort of a project that you left unfinished from another class, bring it on in. Because I want, in the end, it doesn't have to be about this class, but if it can be about this class, trust me, we can turbocharge the subject with the stuff that will be in this class. But I want the signature project to be something that you want to move forward on. It can be about really anything. You will touch me in my little heart here if you throw a little of the things that you're learning in this class. But if not, as long as it's damn interesting, and it will rock the kids when you deliver it. Okay, somebody made a game, some sort of geography game. That was his. I don't know geography, but I couldn't really help him. I could tell him about Hawaii geography, but he was doing European geography. Anyway, that's a requirement. So at the end, what's going to happen is suddenly one of the requirements that's going to show up on our canvas is you need to find a subject. And then the next week it will say, you should have a subject, just try to outline something. And after that, it will say, tighten up the outline, give me some literature surveys. You know, just stuff like that, if it's relevant to your thing. So that's the requirements of the class. Because you guys are the boss, if you can't make it to the class, I know one of you is saying, hey, I'm a coach, and hey, jam with the coaching, but try to make it to the class. Try to make it to this class. I told them I wouldn't teach this class unless I could have this session. You know, there's just no way. The other person, it was all read this and write this and read this, and she quit. There's no way I'm quitting this class. This is too fun. Can't believe they pay me. Don't tell Shamanad that I would do it for nothing. Okay, so I gave you guys these assignments right here. This one or this one. Let me see. Who was the last one that walked in the classroom? I don't know. I think it's, I'm just going to pick on Lucas because Lucas has his hat, his cover on backwards. All right, Mr. Oh, by the way, okay, since you guys are here, if you haven't done your 2 truths and a lie, I'm sorry, I found out I had the date all jacked up. It's due on the 17th, which is like this coming Friday. I want us at our next get together to do the 2 truths and a lie. Oh, Jennifer keeps bopping in and out. Come on, Jennifer, we got to get better broadband. But since I got Mr. Lucas, are we going to talk about this? Can you guys read it? Okay. Can you read this one?
Kind of.
Mr. Lucas, which one are we going to do? Wait, let me find out which one you did, Lucas. Wait, which one? Oh, yeah. Which one?
I think I talked about both of them, wasn't
it? Yeah, you definitely did, but I got a big fat highlight right next to your name. So if you choose that one, I'm going to get on you. No, actually, I got a highlight on 2 of your things. Go ahead, choose one.
We'll do Ika Olelo no Keola, Ika Olelo.
Oh, this is sweet. You guys, by the end of this class, we will have about 13 of these babies, and you will most likely, if you participate starting today, just participate. I will grill you. We will review them. We will review them constantly. You guys can take notes or not take notes. I've got the notes. I will post all the notes. I already have them. These are what the notes will look like. They'll look just like that. And you know what? Our board will look just like that when we're done. Anyway, because some students aren't good with writing. Some kids aren't good at note-taking. Many kids are good at listening as long as you can grab them and pull them into your story. So I'm going to treat you like kids. I'm going to try to teach you content, and I'm going to try to teach you how I deliver this type of content. If there's any particular, I'd say there's probably 8 major themes in this next 10 weeks. If you really like one, we'll take a sidebar and I'll say, this is how you deliver it. This is what I'm thinking when we deliver it. This is how we'll do it if you want to do it for your class. Anything I teach is yours, right? I would like you to tell me you're teaching it because I make a kind of a fun living off this. It's just a pocket change. This is what I spend when I travel outer island, this money. Okay, according to Mr. Lucas, we're hitting up on this one. Mr. Lucas, you, sir, have to give me any meaning of any of these words on this board right here.
Just a single word or the whole thing?
No, I don't want, of course I don't. So what I did it on the assignment was we're going to transliterate. Okay, Mr. Jensen, what does transliterate mean?
I took it as like the literal translation of each word.
Yes, the literal translation of each word. So Mr. Lucas is going to give us one of these words. Which one?
I'll do Olelo.
Oh, and what does that mean?
Language.
Of course it means language. And you got a twofer on that one. We're going to put it like this. Language. And look, right over here. Somebody else give me another word. Oh, by the way, you know, Olelo Hawaii, ke olo hapai lima. No, well, if you speak Hawaiian, raise your hand. Maybe not, maybe not. Oh, li'i. I see a li'i sign. Li'i. Okay, language. Okay, Miss li'i, Kristen, give me another one that's up here.
I would assume Ola, so breast or life.
Ola is life. Yeah, breath is a little different. We'll just put it right here. It's life. Who here knows 0 Hawaiian? Oh, great, because I'm going to ask you next. Sally, if this is life, Ola, what is this word?
Death.
It must be death. Most proverbs they're sort of polarized. In fact, whenever you see a phrase that's polar, there's a morality to it. And this is kind of a moral thing. So right, make means death. Good job, good job.
Thanks.
Anybody give me another one? Not all at once though, because can't take the bandwidth. Okay, Joy, just give me a guess, Joy. You got most of the, we got most of the big, which one? What's that?
Wouldn't that be like just the
Yeah,
part,
the
the biggie
definite
part?
article. Here's the, and
Yeah.
look, it's like Wheel of Fortune. We got a the, here's another the, so it's a ka or a k. Here's another the,
Right.
and then we have another the, and we have another the. Now, who haven't I asked yet? Just so I can get the names down, because Lauren's trying to be quiet, sitting on the top of my screen right over here. Lauren, what
Yeah.
else do we have left?
Let's see.
No.
For sure.
Anybody
No.
know anything else that's left?
E is in.
E can be, yep. It can be in, if, it can be a lot of things, but in this
At,
case.
it, on, by, because
Yeah,
of.
yeah. Some of you
Or
guys, that was kind of cool. You guys put them all these things down. Somebody was putting seep. Seep? What? A bunch of you guys put seep. I should have marked it on paper. Whoever put seep, I am humored. I am humored by that translation.
Humor.
Somebody tell me, oh, this, and by the way, this is not seep. This is what everybody said was seep. This no right here. What does that mean? Kristen, do you know what that no means?
Almost like is.
Nope,
Like it's
nice
something.
try.
Like it didn't know.
Nope, nice try though. Anybody know? Anybody guess? Come on, guess for me.
Because.
No, oh, no, without the line over it. Yes, it can mean a because.
Oh.
What this no means is this.
Oh,
So when
excellent.
you tell me aloha, I say, whoa, aloha no. When you say mahalo, I say, wow, mahalo no. Like it's just an emphatic, right? As I drop my marker. Okay. So the way I translate is I put indeed. Just put indeed right there. Okay. So let's see. I'm going to ask Mr. Tyler to keep him awake because it's like 12 o'clock or something, or 11:30 over there. Mr. Tyler, can you look at these words and make a sentence for me that doesn't sound like Uncle Google's translation? No, it's okay. You can give me this is a pretty easy. So that's a transliteration. We throw the words up. Now let's try to go for our first little run at what we think it says.
In English?
Yes, sir. Because it's already in Hawaiian.
A little hard to see. Is it in the language?
Yes, in the language.
There is life.
Indeed, there is life.
Yep. And in the language, there's death.
Indeed, in the language, there's death. Okay, everybody. Everybody said all kinds of interesting translations. I guarantee you, you will think differently about this proverb. It's probably one of the most popular. I think most people have it a little weird. But we're going to talk about why I think. What somebody tell me why we have this proverb. So there was a transliteration. We threw all these words up. Mr. Tyler gave it his best guess at what it means. In the language, indeed there is life. In language, indeed there is death. What does it mean? What are we saying? Miss Megan, because your camera was going like that, so it caught my eye.
I don't know. Words have power.
Oh, I would definitely say that. Let me put that over here. Definitely. Words have power. Yes, power to build houses. Power to commute through very heavy traffic. What kind of power?
To relay everything. I don't know.
Well, we're talking specifically some interesting things here. What was somebody else's translations? Many of you, I could. Let me just look over here at my notes. I have here. We jumped. We went that way. Lauren.
Yes.
What did you say? Do you remember? And you gave a cool example.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember the boy.
Oh yeah. Okay. So that the words have power, and then there's energy in the words that they're speaking. So I talked about the little boy that cried wolf.
And how does that relate?
That you gotta watch what you say. So yeah, I have 2 little kids, so I kind of think about those kind of things. Make sure you're what you're saying is right. So be careful with the words you choose.
Your kids are under 3 or over 3 or half?
I have a 4 and a 7-year-old.
Oh, okay. 3 years old is the cognitive, is the psychological level of development where they can tell a lie at 3. So if they're older than 3, they can tell all kinds of lies. They can cry wolf all the time. But we're talking about that's a kind of a cool concept. There's a test you can do to find out whether or not they're capable of lying.
Yeah.
Okay, I loved my psychiatric rotations. They were a lot of fun. Okay, somebody else give me another explanation. 1, 2, 3, look how many of us. There's 12, 13, 14. Another, somebody else, Mr. Jensen. I'm going to, Mr. or Lucas, or how about Jamie? I haven't heard you speak yet. Ms. Kalama.
Something that I wrote in my submission was talking about how words can be like a sword.
Oh, you did. I got it bolded right there. That was cool.
Well, they can be used for like defense or protection, or they can cut down and destroy.
Yeah, they could save you. You could live by way of these words, or you could die by way of these swords. So it's definitely, but the question I want to ask you is this. This really says something like all of you are saying, there's a lot of power in the word, there's a lot of mana in the words. A lot of you guys just said, who says, what does Western world think about language? What are some proverbs or idioms that the Western world says about words?
I think it's the opposite. Like, I think of that, was it sticks and stones can break my bones,
Yeah.
so words can never hurt me.
I just was thinking that one too.
Yeah. What does that mean though? Sticks and stones will break my bones, but words have no power on me. That's Western. But we are saying something quite different. You guys were saying there's a lot of mana in these words. You could live or you could die by these words. What kind of culture says that?
On oral culture.
What do you mean by that?
Somebody that knows that what we pass down from person to person is like our history. So we have to make sure that what we're passing down, it has to be accurate and not fake news.
Very poignant point there. Let me try something really quick, stepping off. I'll do this. I live in a condo right here next to Chaminade campus. It was recently appraised at just over $750,000. There's the key. If I were to ask you guys, if you guys come once a week, if you lived on island, so presuming you all live nearby, once a week, and please clean the dishes, please wipe down the bathroom and vacuum the house once a week for 1 year, you can have the condo. Who would do it?
I would do it.
It's a damn nice condo, three bedrooms, and even better than 3 bedrooms, 3 parking spaces. You would do it? So can we just start tomorrow? You would do it? Miss Sally, you would do it? We'll start tomorrow. I'll just keep the keys, and then a year from now, I'll say, hi. Are we good to start? Is everybody okay that wanted to take me up on the deal? We're just going to get rolling with it? I see Mr. Lucas.
Well, we have to make contracts.
What?
Contracts, assurances.
What?
I need it in writing.
We need it in writing. Absolutely need it in writing. That's because sticks and stones will break my bones, but your word is worthless to me. In Western culture, you want it in writing.
Right.
So what kind of cultures say this? What kind of cultures will say this? Because Western culture wants this.
Those that are not technologically advanced?
Nope. I mean, I don't mean no in that way. I mean, there's a tighter point. It comes off of what Joy was saying. What did Joy, without Joy saying it, what did Joy say it was?
Oral culture.
What does that mean? Who are the oral culture people?
Native.
What is a, I'm sorry?
A lot of the native communities, you
Yes.
know, around the world, they don't have or didn't originally have writing.
They don't have writing. All you have is your word. It's all you have. You will kill people with it. You will save people with your word. There is no such thing as writing. Once you put writing down, you crap on your words. Everything needs to be in writing now. That's why nobody would take my deal unless we got it down in writing to definitely. But were we 300 years ago in Hawaii, all I'd have to say is that's it, and that's it. In fact, it is so important that in the native, the First Nation tribes of America, some of them, let's do this. Let's say I snuck over to Shay's teepee and I stole some food because I was a bit hungry and I ran off and I was busted. And you, the council of elders, call me to the council. And they're going to say, Kiahi, did you steal food from Shay? And I'll say, yes. And then what will the council do? They'll scold Shay for not providing me food. But if I walked up and I lied, that's a death penalty.
Wow.
Because you can't lie. You can't cry wolf. Because that's all you have is your word. It's that important in Hawaiian culture. You don't mess with it. You be honest at every moment. With your students, just be honest. Or with all the students I mentor, I give them in our relationship. Sometimes it gets heavy when they're in kind of an issue. I say, I give you in our relationship. I trust you. I know you trust me. I've never lied to you. I know you've never lied to me. You may answer me only truthful, or you could be quiet and I won't push it. But you do not have permission to lie. You do not have permission to say an untruth in our relationship. It will compromise it nearly irreparably. I've had kids lie, and then we had to kind of go through a little remediation thing, something so, because I need to trust the kids that I work with. I need to know they're going to tell me the truth, because I will put it all on the line. I will tell them the truth. And I will trust that whatever comes out of their mouth is God-given truth, and I will defend them by way of it. Don't lie. That's what I mean by this. That's what I meant. You could translate this. You could look it up in Google, say, oh, this means that, that means this. Some of the cool things you guys were saying. Lucas, you said oral tradition too on this one. I think. I got you down, Mr. Lucas, of having mentioned language, life, death. You carry your stories or you carry your endings. What did you mean by that one? You carry the endings.
I think that, I mean, if we're talking about like an oral tradition, then without a written record, then the language is what's responsible for carrying the history and the beliefs and values of a culture. And that if the language were to stop being spoken, or then so the culture would cease to exist.
Now, that's exactly, I'm glad you went that direction. I wasn't anticipating, but you went there. That's what a lot of people said. The reason why this is important is because when you lose the language, you'll lose your culture. Do we ever talk about that in English?
No.
We never talk about losing our language. Do they talk about that in Japan? Hey, you know, they're talking, man, if we lose Japanese, our culture will change. Nobody talks about it. The only reason we talk about it today is because it's endangered and the culture is threatened. So when you say that this 1,000-year-old phrase meant to talk about how culture and language are so intertwined that to lose it, you will damage your culture, is true, but they never thought it. What they thought was, you never lie. That's what they thought. That is powerful. That your language, your word is powerful. They didn't tie it to the existence of their culture because nobody 300 years ago thought that it would be an extremely endangered language at this point. But that's what most everybody in the room said that. Like, yeah, it's tied to your culture, and you know, if you lose the language, you lose the culture. And I was thinking, I said, well, that's what we think today, but that's probably not what they thought. And I want us to try to figure out what they thought, not what we think today. We can decrypt what we think today and say, that's a contemporary way of thinking, and that's okay. But if we really want to dive down and try to grab a hold of something more traditional, then we have to really uncode what we think and recode what they were thinking. And that's what they were thinking, and we know why they were thinking it, because they didn't have a written language at all. They had chants, storytellers, they drumming, you could drum, blow conch shell, these kinds of signaling mechanisms, but definitely didn't have anything in writing. Are we okay with that? Any questions on that one? That's why I want you guys to look at these proverbs. Why do I give these proverbs? Because of this. Once you get a hold of it, you are locked, solid, founded, or strong foundation, I should say it that way. Nobody can argue with you. Nobody. I only ask one thing. Do not get into an argument or do not get into a debate where you're going to hammer people. I've done that, and it's not, you know. Some of these things are so solid, you could pound people in the face and make them look dumb. We don't really want to do that. That's the whole equal level no kamake thing. We don't need to take knowledge and hammer people over the head with it. That will be a little bit about what we're talking here. Okay, somebody, we got it right here. We're going to talk about this one. Am I on screen still?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. I got blue. I'll use blue. Let's see. I'm thinking this. Okay, give me somebody give me a word that they recognize up here.
Oh.
I'm sorry? Oh, pow. Oh, yeah. What does that mean?
Done.
Done or finished.
Yeah.
Or done. Okay, let me see. I haven't heard Carly speak up very loudly. Come on, Carly. Give me one of the...
Ike?
What does that mean?
Is it to know or to see?
Oh, wow, Carly. That is exactly what I would want you to say. It means to see. Ike, I can see you. Ike. But it also means to know, because seeing is believing. So if I can see it, I know it. So right, it means know, to know. Or to know is knowledge. Or to get knowledge, it's learning. Or knowledge. We're going to take it as knowledge. I'm looking at the full translation. Well, Carly, you jumped a couple of leaps there. You get to rest for a bit. Okay, somebody else. I'm going to move my thing around. Megan, you got this really soft, glowing light coming on you. I'm just going to ask you. Give me a word. Give me a word going. Because if you don't say anything, I'm straight up jamming over to Kristen because Kristen's cleaning her fingernails.
The.
Oh, you got it. Good job. Good job. That's the gimme. You almost every one of these, and like I said, we'll probably have about 13. They're all going to have the. So whoever jumps on the, you're off the hook. You're off the hook. Okay, Kelly. By the way, Kelly, I'm sorry. I'm just going to ask you really quick. Okay. I know the Higa's a big name, but do you know Brandon and Conan Higa and Karen? Well, Karen, she just passed away. Anyway, maybe we'll talk later.
Aole, unfortunately.
Oh, okay.
It's like Smith.
Yeah.
It's like Smith, so.
Oh, yeah, it's a big, I know there's tons of Higas, but all
right.
those people are super beautiful people. The Higas I know.
Awesome.
Okay, here we go. Tell me one, Miss Higa, super beautiful Higa person.
Aohe, none, no or not.
Wow, very cool. What word does it look like?
Aole.
It looks like aole. So the thing about aole, what does aole mean?
No.
It means no. So this is a quantity. Aohe means none. So there's none. Just like that. And I know a bunch of you put the word none down, not none like a habit, none like nothing. And okay, oh wait, we got another the. I cheated you out of your other the. Okay, running around, Mr. Tyler. Gonna ping you on. Do you recognize any of these words? Oh, you gotta turn your mic on or push the space bar.
Okahi.
Oh, what is that?
Is that house?
Oh, everybody says long house. The halal might be the house thing. Like I was so surprised. Everyone was saying long house. What is it? So you want to try guess again? How about?
Is it school?
This is halal. So this is a halal is a place of learning. So you could have a halal va'a where you learn how to car, or a halal Kalaiva'a, that's where you learn how to carve a canoe. A halau hula, where you learn how to perform hula storytelling. So this is a learning place. It's like a school, you could call it. But in Hawaiian, they have a word for school. They use a Hawaiianized English word of hula. So a learning place. Okay, we're down to a couple more words. Okay, I'm going to ask Miss Kalama.
I'll go with I or E,
What does
talking
that
about
mean?
in or
at or in or at, something like that. It's just a preposition. Okay, who's going to get the last word? Somebody want to guess, or am I going to call on somebody? The person who just drank. Hello, Miss Shea. Can you give me this last word right here?
Ho'okahi. I think it's like ho'o is like a prefix, and then
Yes,
kahi is one.
Yes! Gosh, I can't believe that's the first time in 10 years anybody said it like that.
Yeah.
Anybody said it like this. I'm going to write it right here. Kahi means one. So ho'o, I'll tell you what ho'o does. Ho'o causes this to happen. It causes this. So somebody tell me what nani means. What does nani? Pretty. It means
Beautiful.
pretty or beautiful. So if I go like ho'o nani, what does that mean?
Really pretty, maybe?
It makes it happen. So if it's beautiful, it becomes, if it's beautiful and I ho'o nani, what does that become?
coming beautiful.
Beautify.
Beautify.
To beautify. If I said this word, wait, I have to, nobody say anything. I have to remember. I think it wasn't it you, Sally, that told us what this word meant earlier? I'm testing you. It means death or dead. So what does this mean, Sally?
Deadly?
Nope.
No.
Close. I'm sorry. I really shouldn't say that. You shouldn't. With your students, I shouldn't jump on the no like that. But I'm just kind of amped up right now. You guys are kind of grown up. I could just jump. No, but don't do that to your students. They'll start shutting down. They'll stop answering. Please don't shut down on me. I don't mean it personally. I'm looking for a particular answer. This is beautiful. Beautify. Dead. Kill.
Deadliest?
Ho'omake means to kill. You're going to create dead, right? Or murder. So the reason why I say that is this is interesting. What they're saying is you're creating a oneness. It's a really weird nuance. I'm not saying, I'm mentioning it now only for the reason that this ho'o will come up on a lot of time. It'll come up a lot of times. So I'm introducing it on this proverb, this term ho'o. So if you know any Hawaiian word, like pono, then you just ho'o pono pono. You know, the word ho'o, it just adds to your vocabulary. One way to add to your vocabulary. Okay, wow, we threw that all up there. Yes, question.
I thought aikahi was one. So what's the difference between aikahi and kahi?
Okay, kahi could be like a thing, a one thing. Akahi means first, ekahi means one. But when you count, you go ekahi, elua, ekolu, eha, elima. But when you count backwards, elima, eha, ekolu, elua, ho'okahi. See how you created the one? You came to one. So I just want us to think of the nuance, because you could Google this phrase 1,000 times and they'll never say these things. But I'm teaching it to you this way. Why? Because it's once you understand it, nobody can argue with you. I had one person using this very phrase. I'll tell you when we're done talking about it. Okay, who wants to go for the, that was the transliteration. Who wants to go for the translation? Okay, who's being super, oh, Lucas, I haven't heard you, bro. You got strep throat or something. What's the deal?
Okay, is it like not all knowledge is learned in one place?
Okay, Uncle Google says not all knowledge is learned in one place. I'd say 9 out of 10 of you said that. Where's the word not?
Oh, okay.
Not all knowledge. That's none.
None?
Yeah,
not.
That's not. Try, just Lucas, just try to say it with the words we have.
Hold on. Okay. None finished. Nothing's finished. None.
See how different that is? Nothing
Yeah.
can be finished. There is no such thing as finished. There's no finishing. No finishing what?
Learning.
Learning or knowledge. Where?
In the first.
Oh,
the first house.
now I got.
The learning place.
The learning place. In one learning place.
Yeah.
There's lots of learning places, but we're talking about one. You're never finished. Whoops, I just jumped right off my own screen there. You're never finished learning in only one place. What does that mean, Mr. Jensen? Mr. Chaminade, Department of Humanities?
I took it as like, well, I guess how I had it before was like one can learn from many sources. So like, yeah, like there's not only one way of doing things necessarily. Like
exactly,
it's not always correct.
A lot of you said that. Let me see. God, this was so good. You guys kept. Lauren, I'm totally coming back to you because you said some crazily like, whoa, philosophical. I said, well, I got to take a breath, man, and stop on Lauren's. So I put Lauren, I put you last. I put you last on this one. So you can come and blow us away with your like guru, you know, this oracle, Delphic oracles pronouncements. Okay, Jensen, you did say something about open mind. Jamie, you said something about open mind. Kristen, you said something about an open mind. All of you were saying, because that's exactly what it is. Nobody has ever said that. All of you were saying that nobody in 10 years of this silly class I'm teaching said it's about an open mind. Just like Jensen had said it. Let me look at Jensen directly. Good, oh, I said you had a good breakdown. Everything is different, and that's okay. That's what you had said, Mr. Jensen. Let me see some other interesting. Let me jump down on the lower page. Sally, receptive and open-minded in all aspects as lifelong learners. God, I couldn't even say that better. But I want to reduce it down to a simple idea. It's not about saying you're constantly learning. What it is, what I want you to think about this is saying, because it will put you in a posture that nobody can challenge you on, is that we're just, all learning isn't going to be found in just one place, which means you need, like you guys are saying, be open-minded to other ideas, be true to try to find other knowledge outside. My experience has been in hula and chanting. I studied only under one teacher, Kumu John Lake. He used to teach, not the graduate class, but the undergraduate classes I teach. He allowed me to take over before he passed away. I will never know what he knew. I could never know all that he knew. I mean, since 3 years old till 70 years old when he passed away, his knowledge was unchallengeable. It was crazy. That's why you typically, he will graduate you away, and then you go study under somebody else. So I won't know what Kumu Lake knew, but I will know several schools that I could combine. And so I will be equal to Kumu Lake, but I will never know all that he knew. And that's kind of a cool thing. Just kind of study out, be careful. I'm gonna share a video when I post all this on Canvas. There's a video about this. They kind of go a little really melodramatic about the thing, but it does say about where we seek our knowledge. But what I want us to do, or use the buzzword of this one, is I want you to just think about this as being humble with your knowledge. Just be humble. Let other people, it's okay if other people are wrong. It's okay if you're different than other people. It's okay. Unless it's offensive, unless it's disrespectful, unless it's flat out inaccurate. Just, it's okay. They learned something from their space. You learned something from your space. It's okay. When I had a Caucasian, she was Caucasian looking, but she was Hawaiian. She was trying to teach this class, and this kupuna, well, kind of a middle-aged lady, looks at her and goes, "What do you know about any of this?" And she came home, she came up to me and she said what happened, and she was like teary-eyed. I said, no. Whenever a kupuna says that, or anybody attacks your knowledge, just say, A'ohe pau ka ike ka halau ho'okahi. And if they know what you said, you walk away because they can't argue with you. They have to argue with 1,000 years of knowledge right here. That's how you won't lose the argument. Because you just speak on behalf of 1,000 years of Hawaiian thinking. You can bust out your Ouija board and argue with all my ancestors all you want, but I'm not going to argue with you. I'm just going to tell you, "A'ohe pau ka ike ka halau ho'okahi." If I were to see our President Donald Trump, I would walk up and say, "Ika olelo no ke ola, sir. Ika olelo no kamake." You can't argue with me. Booyah. You can go bust out the Ouija board. No Twitter Ouija. There's no Twitter Ouija. Okay. Are we okay with this? Do you see how it's a little different? I want you guys to go ahead and look at we're going to have a bunch more. I'll have them. Some of them I'll just introduce in class. I think I have another paper that you guys can do. I don't want you to freak out. I don't want you to stress out. The only people that I won't really give a point to is those that just don't do it. If you do it, you'll get a point or something, but just give it a whirl. Don't stress. But go on the deep end. It's the deep end. You guys all went this whole, I've never seen so many open-minded answers like that. Shay, 9th grade, everybody is smart. Damn, everybody's smart. Everybody is smart in your own way, from your own learning. I was invited to be part of a mentoring program, and they said this: we will take all the students from this that we want to recruit from the gifted and talented kids. I said, really? Like I had musicians and I was the science guy. And they said, yeah, we're going to get all the kids from the gifted and talented into this mentoring program. I said, really? I'll take the kids at the bottom. If you're going to rank them gifted, I'll take the kids on the bottom because we're going to rock it, right? Those are the ones I work with, the ones that are being challenged. Those are the ones I'll invest my energy. I'll put my money into it. Okay, let's see. Any other, let me take it. Carly, people should remain humble. Carly, that's the whole thing right there. Why didn't I highlight that? That's what I want you guys to remember. Just be humble with your knowledge. Other people learn other things. Okay, I know I'm pounding it like a horse. Oh, Joy, many sources of learning like Mother Nature. Gosh, darn it. Like, it took me a long time to get through these because I was just so moved. Okay, we're going to Lauren. Lauren, what did you say?
What did I say?
Something about separation and superiority.
Okay. Taking away feelings of separation and superiority and understanding we can work together to one goal.
Humble.
Connecting us back to nature.
Nobody's superior. Nobody has to be separate. We'll just have different ideas in the same space. Just be humble.
Yes.
Okay? So to me, this is a very, these are my kind of my two favorite, but I have 13 favorites. You'll have them all almost memorized. I will never test you on them, but we're going to talk about it in the next class. In the next class, we'll just keep talking about it. By the end, you guys will have them. If you guys, when I say it, I usually say it later. If you guys put it inside, you own it. If you guys just keep writing it on your notes, all the mana is in the note, not in here. Okay? Any questions? Let me see. Joy, you're my joyful timekeeper. Can you please tell me when it's 6:15? Because we're done at 6:30, right?
Yeah.
I will endeavor never to go to 6:31 without begging for a couple more minutes of your time. Let me take a look here. Okay, here we go. Now I need your guys' participation. Let me see. God, I'm right-handed. It's so weird. Okay, maybe I'll do it. Let me see. We'll do it right here. Wait. One thing. I'm looking at my notes down here. We saw, in our reading, when we get to our reading, if we get to it, darn, I'm just Portuguese out. Here we go. I want you guys. God, that's horrendously weird. It's okay.
Yes.
I was too close to my edge. I was freaking out. Okay. This is manna. Where do we get it from?
Within.
I'm sorry? Where? I'm sorry?
Within.
Oh, from within. Okay, let me think for a sec here. I'm gonna put within right here. From within. I like that. This pen is gone. I'm gonna grab another one. Okay. Where else?
Your family.
Oh, family. Darn. Okay, here we go. We got one of them right here. You get your manna from your ohana. Guaranteed. So since we have one, I'm going to tell you, I am only looking for 3 things. And who said that? Did you say that, Lauren?
Yes.
Lauren, you paying attention? Ohana, that's family. You get your manna from your family. How do I know? Because I remember one day, I was probably this tall. Some lady knocked on the door at 7 in the morning. I was getting ready for school. I go, doorknob's right about here. Open the door. This big holy lady standing there. She looked like a giant. She pushes the door open and steps inside the house and goes, "Where is your mother?" She goes, "Where is your mother? That was it. Where is your mother?" Push the door open. And I said, "Okay, I'll go get my mom." Backed up. I go down the hallway, go in the master bedroom, knock on the door, open the door. "Mom, there's a lady who just pushed herself inside the house. She wants to talk to you." All I remember was just blankets. I didn't see anything. But by the time they floated down, my mom was out that bedroom door, stomping to the front door. My father was right behind her. My mom comes walking around the corner. "What do you want?" The lady was about twice as tall as her. She goes, "Your son was wrestling with my son and broke the button on his shirt." And my mom just looked up at her and goes, "You pushed yourself into my house for that?" She just was going to launch it right into her face. My father grabbed her arm. Why? Because you never mess with my mom's family. Her manna will be immeasurable in the moment. And that's the same thing when a mother, I don't know why, I like mother power, but kids trapped under cars, just launch the car over, there's something about your family. There's something about your family that you don't mess with people's family. Their manna becomes exponentially more powerful. So yes, Lauren, it comes from your family. Or the other weird thing, like my brother and I, we would fight all the time because we're 11 months apart, Irish twins. So in a couple months, I'll be the same age as my brother. And then for 1 month, then he'll be 1 year older. We could fight. I mean, we were pretty much matched, but he was way faster than me. I could never beat him. But I know if anybody ever touched my brother, they would not walk away from that situation. They would not. There's just, I can defend myself from my brother hardly, but you mess with my brother and I don't know. I don't even know what would happen. They're not going to walk away happy, that's for sure. Okay, all that drama. Mr. Lucas, give me one of these other ones here. Ohana, you get your manna from your ohana, don't you dare forget it.
Maybe from your actions.
From your actions? I'm going to put that right over here. Oh, darn it, that was so close. Anybody know how to say actions in Hawaiian? I'm going to just take that as an answer, Mr. Lucas. You just stabbed it right there. Your actions. It is your hana. Your hana. Absolutely. This is why I don't play golf against Tiger Woods. He can do it. That's his manna. I'm not going to box Mike Tyson. I don't care if he beat up my brother. If I box Mike Tyson, I don't know what would happen. I would definitely be beat to a pulp. That's his manna. That's Mike Tyson's manna. That's Tiger Woods' manna. People have manna. They have manna in the actions. It's what they do. It's their talent. It's their skill. It's what they are good at. It's their hana, is their mana. By the way, you all know the three of them. I know you all know it. You just have to think about it. Got one more left, guys. Oh, I'm sorry?
The Aina.
Oh my gosh, how did you guys, never did they? Oh, I can't even, I'm still gonna give you the scenario. Yes, it's your Aina. How do you know that? What makes you say Aina? I'm sorry, who said that? Can you wave? Who said that? Aina? Wow, somebody ate their Wheaties this morning. Very good, Megan. Why did you say Aina though?
I don't know. I live next to the volcano. It's very powerful.
It's very powerful. It's very powerful. And not only that, it's your power. It's not mine. I don't live by it. It listens to you, that volcano. It doesn't know my voice. It's you who should determine whether or not Mauna Kea has a telescope. I have no voice in it. That's your Aina. If I come stomping over to your Aina and I want to build a telescope or want to build a big gymnasium, it's not for me to do. It's your Aina. And don't ever let anybody tell you what to do with it. So that's why I have a lot of people coming. I work at the state legislature. They come in, we want that telescope. Man, we want it there on Mauna Kea. I said, okay, cool. Where are you from? I'm from Makaha. That's the district we represent. I said, okay, how about we put a trash dump in Makaha and a telescope up there? He says, no. I said, I would never put a dump in Makaha because that's your Aina. I would never do that. But yet you want to put a telescope in somebody else's. Not is it not your island, it's another island. We have to understand that we don't, just because we can go there, we're sort of mysteriously believing, like the United States, you can go anywhere because it doesn't say you can't. You shouldn't. It's not polite to go stomping around in other people's places. You know, at least do so respectfully. And just stomping up onto a mountain and putting the telescope. I like the telescope. I don't want it there because the people there that are from there, whose genealogy is Mauna Kea, don't want it. But definitely Aina. So I'm going to do a quick little extra. This is how I'm just impressed you guys knocked it all out. But what I usually do, if you didn't, is you just do this by introduction. You pretend, if you have your students in front of you, say, we're going to talk about Manda Baba. They'll get a couple. Everybody says Ohana, right? Everybody will get that one, but they don't typically get this. But it's just how you meet people. What's your name? Booyah. Hello, cuz. What school you grad? Oh. You just want to know where you're from. And then like St. Louis, oh, Bow, you play football for St. Louis? You know, they're going to ask these three questions. It's the system that people introduce it in Hawaii, and only in Hawaii, I will tell you. You don't see this stuff. I've lived in California, and then California and Washington and California. That's the only other places I've lived. But anyway, my question now for you guys is this. Here we got it. I submit to you, this is a way to look at it. No, it's not what anybody else might say. This is my little Ike. But I say Manda can be encapsulated in these three things. I want to know from you guys, which one is the most important? Starting with Miss Joy, which one's most important?
To me, I think Ohana is the most
I'm
important.
going to put a big check mark. I'm going down just so I can get people's name. Miss Lauren, which one?
Ohana.
Oh, going there. Okay, maybe I should find out Miss Sally. Not a tough question. Oh, okay. Okay, I'm just going to stand here. I'm going to say Shay. Which one do you say? Oh, you got to hit the space bar. You hit the space. Oh, there you go.
I'd say Aina.
Aina. Ooh, got it. Aina. Miss Megan, going down. Jensen, you're next. Think about it, Jensen. Megan.
Hana.
Oh, Hana. Got it. Bam.
No, Hana.
Oh, Hana. Oh, shoot. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the correction. Jensen, coming up. Tyler after Jensen.
I would say Ohana.
Which one, Hana or Ohana?
Ohana, family.
Got it. Booyah. Yeah, nobody's messing with my mom because she almost beat up a lady that I didn't know. Tyler.
I'm with Shay. I say Aina.
Oh, got the Aina. because the Hawaiians were born of that Aina. Miss Carly,
Ohana.
got it. Mr. Lucas,
Hana.
Hana, got it. Kelly,
Ohana.
Ohana going right here. And then Miss Jamie, I'm sorry, Jamie, you're on the end. And then Kristen is last.
I'll go with Hana.
You go with Hana. And finally, Kristen. Oh, that I look like I read your lips. It said Ohana. It said, okay. I can read it. Sign language. Okay, great.
Sorry.
You guys, by the way, already know the answer to this. You guys already know the answer, even though you've chosen these things. One, of course, they're all important. But let's. I'm going to give you a little hypothetical question. Somebody give me the name of some king or some ali'i chief whose mana nobody would question. Boy, that brother get big mana.
Kamehameha.
Oh, okay, we'll go with that. That's as good as any. Right here, Kamehameha. I'm still inside your screen, right? Kamehameha.
Yeah.
Whoa, here. Kamehameha. Meha. Just like that. Do we all agree? Is there anybody that, like, who is that dude? Has anybody not heard of this name before? We okay with this guy? Does everybody agree? His mana is pretty big. Like this kind of mana, like exclamation point. Mana no, like that kind of mana.
Yeah,
We're good.
like mana, no.
So this is pretty straightforward. Pretty straightforward. I need you guys now, because we all agree this gentleman's mana is like if he walked in the room, it would like push you over, just his mere presence. I need you guys to tell me who his brother is. Kamehameha only has one full brother. Please.
Wow.
What's his name? Mr. Tyler, come on the East Coast, they must always use the name of Kamehameha's only full brother. Mr. Lucas, come on, you were so sure. Nobody, what? Wait, hold on for a sec. Hold on. We don't know the name of his brother right here? That red doesn't show up very well. I'm going to convert to black. Let's take a look, guys. Kamehameha and its full brother. Do they come from the same family?
Yeah.
We can definitely. They come from the same family. Do they come from the same place? Mr.
Yeah.
Jensen, Mr. Shamanan, I want to hear Mr. Shamanan speak. Jensen, your answer is?
They probably come from the same place.
They probably, even though Kamehameha was shuttled away and hid for a little while, when they realized that he wasn't the guy that he actually became, they didn't think he was going to become, but he became later. But when they thought, no, he's not going to be the king, he's not going to take over, then him and his brother went and trained together. Yes, they came from the same Aina. But wait a minute. Why do we know Kamehameha's name but not his full brother?
His actions.
Because of his Hana. His Hana. But let's take a look at these three. One of these things is not like the other. Which one of these things is not like the other, Shay?
I am.
Take a look at it. Somebody tell me. Somebody blurb it out. This one is different than the others.
Is it just Aina?
Why would that be? Just tell me. Just justify that answer, Lucas, with that smirk on your face. I see the smirk.
I think. I guess I'm just saying because Ohana has Hana inside of it.
Oh yeah, no, not the words, not the linguistic lexicon. Oh, nice try though. Why?
Have a choice.
Because it's a choice. None of us ever chose what family we were from, but we get the mana. None of you chose where you were going to have your diaper changed for the first few years. None of you. Somebody else made that. The only thing you have that controls your mana is your choices in what you do. And that's why, who was it that said within? Who said within? That's why. It's inside you. It's your talent. It's your mana. You choose it. And that's why Kamehameha chose to do what he did. That's why Kamehameha had the legacy that your mana will create as long as you make the right choices. And by the way, his brother's name is Keli'i Maikai, the good chief. He comes up in some other stories, and he helped build the Heiau at Pukola, all these very. But that's the whole idea. The whole idea here is just basically when you talk to your students, I had a kid one time, I had to work up a psych kid in the youth correctional facility at Olamana. So the first thing, what's the first question you asked? You're in the incarceration facility, sit down, 17-year-old sits across the table from me. Your first question is?
What'd you do?
Yeah, what'd you do that got you in there? He says, I was selling dope. I was selling dope. Meth. What's your next question, Lauren? He's falling asleep. Hurry, ask your next question.
Are you here alone? I don't know.
Oh, that won't direct you to the source of the problem. Mr. Tyler, now that you changed places, I'm going to resettle you into a question. The first question was, why are you here? He says, I was selling dope. What's the second question?
Oh, where's your parent? Sorry.
His parents are probably at home somewhere. Does it matter? Does it change your diagnoses? Tyler, not Tyler. Yeah, Mr. Tyler, I'm sorry. Next question.
I would say, are you alone?
Of course, he's in an incarcerated facility with other teenagers. I'm going to ask, I'm sorry?
Is it why?
Is that what you want to ask? Why are you selling dope? Why would he sell dope? Just cash. Cash for what? They only sell dope for cash for what reason?
Food.
What did you need the money for? Yeah.
That's a kind of the question you want to ask, but it's only going to be two things. It's either for cash or
drugs.
Food.
Drugs. So if it's so, you don't have to ask what do you use the money for. All you need to ask him is, do you use dope? And his answer was
yes.
Yes.
No.
Oh.
Really?
What does that mean? I busted out a piece of paper. I drew this. I made him draw it in the same way I did it with you guys. I drew this. I asked, how much do you make a week? He says about $1,000. 17. I said, okay, let's talk about this. Family, community, and what you do. You're manna, my friend. You're manna. You are a damn good businessman because a businessman doesn't use his product. But look what your manna as a businessman does. It destroys families. It destroys communities. And that is what you will answer to when the time comes. However, if you use your talent in business and you build a legitimate business, $1,000 a week will be nothing. Just use your money. Because there's no way I could tell him, brah, go work at McDonald's. Make $1,000, yeah, make $600 a month. I would be stupid to say it. He would be stupid to even listen to me. But I can tell him, your money, bro. It's you who will answer to it, good or bad. Let's see. I am pretty much, let me take, we're going to talk. So I got 10 more minutes. You're going to warn me, okay, Joy, in 10 minutes.
Yep.
Let's talk about our reading. You guys, give me some of the things you enjoyed about the reading. I got all my notes about what you said, and we'll work off of that. Somebody start it up. What did you like about the reading? Let me see. Where would I want us to start? Oh, the first thing I kind of want to start with is, right over here. Kristen.
Mm-hmm.
You had said something about the mind-body rift that forms, right?
Yes.
Oh, and you have, as a scientist, you have a problem. What was your problem?
So part of studying science is that you learn it's very factual. It's not very black and white. I mean, it's black and white to an extent. But the struggle is, I always struggle with this because I teach at Catholic school. So it's the struggle between religion and science. And then there's a struggle between when you learn about your culture and you learn that there's something other, like we learned about the Na'au and how your thoughts come from your Na'au and whether to believe your Na'au. But then there's a rift because Western culture says that there needs to be a separation.
Mm-hmm.
And
why is the Na'au important?
Because it just is, no?
Well,
it's important because it's your own intuition. It's what you feel is right or wrong.
Truly,
That's how I think.
It's where, so there's a word that we say this. The word pa'a means solid. It means solid. Pa'a. Hey, you understand that assignment? I'm pa'a. I've got it. It's rock solid. I'm there. Pa'a na'au means it's locked in here, in my na'au. Because that's where your knowledge, in Hawaiian thinking, your knowledge is in your na'au. It's pa'a in your na'au. Okay, here we go. What does that mean? Give me a transliteration, somebody. Mr. Jensen, who just sat down. Mr. Jensen.
Sorry, what was the question?
Ho'o pa'a na'au. What does that mean? Oh, whenever you see that, you take this away. What does pa'a na'au mean? Somebody tell Mr. Jensen. Tell Mr. Jensen. Somebody tell him. Pa'a na'au means
solid in your na'au.
Solid in your gut. Solid. Ho'o pa'a na'au means
becoming knowledgeable.
I'm sorry, say again.
Becoming knowledgeable.
Oh, close. Close. It will result in that. You're right. But that's one step farther along. Mr. Tyler, it looked like you were going to say something. Because Lucas was going to say something because I'm going to ask him. I'm only kidding, bro. Ho'o pa'a na'au. Oh, you got to hit your button, bro.
I said becoming solid.
To become solid, to make solid. Yeah. So what does this word translate into Hawaiian? To memorize. So that's how you get your knowledge, like you were absolutely saying there, Megan. That's how you gain knowledge. You make it solid in your na'au. And the thing that Kristen was saying was, science is very factual. It's randomized controlled double-blind studies that are reproducible and getting the same results with a certain statistical confidence interval, if you want to get into it. But that's what science is. It's provable. Outside of that, it becomes faith. You just believe it, or it becomes hypothesis or a theory. But science creates what we would say in the Western world, a fact. The problem is this: we already know that we don't put knowledge always in our brain. We put knowledge in our gut. That's how we get a gut feeling about something. Even in Western, we know it. But in Hawaiian, it's your knowledge is stored here. It's stored here. It's the idea of being in brain. It's a subtle thing to understand. But what does it mean? Why do we have a gut feeling? What does that come from? Anybody biology majors? There's a couple. Oh, Miss Kristen.
What scientific.
So if you want to get into the neuroanatomy kinds of things, it's all parasympathetic. It's nervous system that's regulated also with your emotions, the parasympathetic system. That's why when you're scared, you might throw up. That's why when you're afraid, you won't be hungry. Your emotional system will regulate the parasympathetic systems, which is a part of a neuroanatomy system. So anyway, I just wanted to mention that because once it had the ho'o in it, I wanted to test you guys on the ho'o. Very good. And then, okay, and then I wanted to say, so this means to memorize. So that was kind of interesting because there doesn't necessarily, who is the psych majors? Go like this. I know there's like 3 or 4 of you. Psychology. What does cognitive dissonance mean? Oh, you got to hit your button. Is that for real? Is that like a virtual background, or are you sitting in your garden? Miss Higa, oh, that's a virtual background because that leaf is huge next to you. Okay, what is cognitive dissonance? Anybody know what cognitive dissonance is? If there was one psychology or psychiatric term you should know, it's cognitive dissonance. It's where you will try with your mind to make 2 things that are not equal. So when we say we put knowledge in our gut, we know in the scientific world, it's in your head, it's in your brain. But you will make this shift to say, I'm just going to say it's here and work from that perspective. It's a dissonance, a difference, but that you cognitively realign. So there's a really good example of those things when you say, For example, like the slaves. Like you could free the slaves, but they say, why would I want to be free? I got a home to stay on. My owners bring me food. I only get whipped once a week. Gosh, the guy next door is whipped every day. It's that ability for your brain to reduce its stress levels by shifting the reality to what you want to believe. That's why you have 10,000 people in the Auschwitz camp with 100 guards with guns. If you escape the camp, sure, many of them want to, but some of them are afraid. And then where are you going to live? You have a place to live, food that will be provided, junk food, you know, and it's not all, and I'm not trying to justify that, but that's how you enter into a survival instinct, by justifying it. There's a couple of really good psych experiments that are awesome in cognitive dissonance. We should, for those that are interested, we could talk about it another time. Let's see. Oh, here's a good, okay, we're approaching. Carly. Whoa, which one do I want to do first? Tyler. What did you say about the reading in terms of rhythm?
I talked about the ocean and cultivating the spirit of aloha, and how I hear about it when other surfers are in the water, and it's more of the breath of life, and just, it's more than just actions. It's how people perceive you and how you perceive yourself, essentially.
Cool. I'm glad you were here again, because I need you, Tyler, and then Carly. What was your take on it in terms of nature and your little sunrise event? Can you explain that?
Yeah. Yeah, I talked about the same kind of connection with nature, and more in like a conflicting way, just because I feel like I've never been able to find that permanently. So.
Oh yeah, you put intermittently for better.
Yeah.
But what was the example that sort of made you sort of align with, like, hey, nature does have something to offer? What was?
Yeah, I had a really amazing teacher once that he's an English teacher, and he took us up on a mountaintop to see the sunrise and read while we were seeing the sunrise.
Reading just anything, or anything in particular? Was there subject matter?
We were reading Dante. We were reading
Dante's Inferno, really? You're talking about hell on a freezing cold mountaintop? Isn't that some irony?
Yeah, no, we were reading Paradiso, so like, yeah, but yeah, it was just reading like a history, and then like hearing the birds and like feeling the cold dirt, and just having that all kind of come together, like the people and the earth. And I don't think I think about that in my everyday life or when I was growing up, so that was really special.
So with Carly and Tyler, what's the difference between that learning environment and the classroom?
Just the whole experience. You're living the actual learning.
And I will submit to you this one idea, that you let go of the control. You let nature do it's going to make you cold. You don't want to be cold. If you're in the classroom, you'd start, you're going to, oh, thank you. You're going to, when you let nature, when you submit to it, it just become one with it. I know some of you said, gosh, where was it? I should have highlighted that. Let's see. A bunch of you were saying stuff like that. We need to, that Manu Meyer, by the way, this book, she came back from Harvard with a huge manuscript, which would become this book. And I'd never read such big words in my life. I have never read a book where I needed a dictionary next to me. And like I learned at least 10 absolutely new words I've never ever seen, like pasit. I remember that word. Oh, ontology, that's another word she used. Like, what are these words? But I used to scrutinize that document. It was her manuscript before it became her thesis. But it turned out to be really good. I still struggle with it. But anyway, she does say something about, let me see. You were saying, what I picked off of you, Mr. Tyler, was that there's this rhythm of Mother Nature in the surf that you just submit to it. You move with it. You become part of nature. I know somebody said something about, I'm sorry, nature's rhythm. Lauren, you said something about nature's rhythm in the mana of words. Why did you say nature's rhythm? There's a relationship with nature, interconnectedness, pace, flow, and melding. I don't know if I threw some of those words in. Do you remember that? Can you elaborate?
Yeah, well, mine was when I was in like summer fun when I was a kid. The uncles would take us to Waikiki and
well, they had summer fun way back then? No, I'm only kidding.
Yeah. Push us on the surfboards and you know, you're just waiting. You're like, I want to get the wave, I want to get the wave, but you just have to be on nature's terms. So you have to just wait for the wave. And so it kind of teaches you patience. And then once you ride the wave, you're like, you appreciate it so much more. So it's like having that time while you're waiting does make it even sweeter. So
yeah, and that was the same. I should have brought you in on a little bit on that discussion also, where you are really just becoming part of nature because you don't control it. You move with it. So I have a student that just, I was telling the Joy that went earlier before everybody else showed up. He's on the Big Island. He's just graduated high school, just fell in love with this beautiful girl. They're spending some time on the Big Island. And I said, his name's Cameron. I said, Cam, when you go to Hilo, where he was headed, and you will be going, anybody who's Kona? Joy's in Kona. Anybody live in Hilo? I don't think anybody's Hilo, right? I said, Cam, when you go to Hilo, it's going to rain. It's going to rain when you get there. And the rain is called Ua Kani Lehua. And what I want you to do, and it means the rain such that it hits the lehua blossom and makes noise. So what I want you to do, Mr. Cameron, is when you go to Hilo with your girlfriend, when it rains, I want you to take her outside. I want you to feel the rain. I want you to taste it. And I want you to introduce your girlfriend to this rain. And that the rain's name is Ua Kani Lehua. Because that rain has been there for 1,000 years. And that's how you connect to Hilo, because it's only in Hilo that rain falls. There's the Ua Lili Lehua in Pololo Valley. There's the Kilihune Rains of Manoa Valley and the Tuahine Rains in Manoa Valley. Get to know the rain. Get to know the Wa'ahila winds right on Kalaipohaku here above Chaminade. Then so it becomes, when you sort of personify it, it's not just elements, it's people. When you get to know the plants and what these plants are for, I draw the line on plants because there's too many in my memory. But I can do winds and rains, I can do stars and streams, and then you visit them like friends, and you introduce your friends to them. And that's how you become part of nature. When you get into the surf, every surf break's got names to them. I don't surf, but I just got, these people talk about it like there's hundreds of people out on the beach, but no, it's just their surf breaks. They're calling them by name. That's how you connect. When you connect to that nature, connect your kids to it. So I've taken kids into the forest, but I never just take them in there. I make sure I walk there. I make sure, what am I going to talk about? What plant? If I go this way, I'll run into a banana. And you'll know why I want to run into a banana tree, because we're going to talk about a banana tree later in our class and why there's a cool aspect to the banana tree. You plan your lessons. You do them intentfully. You know what this place is called. You know why it's called that. And then you casually, like it was just something you knew all your whole life, you tell it to them. Because they go, wow, she knew that? Well, maybe I need to internalize it. Like you guys will be internalizing these little. In fact, you'll say, you know what? In fact, I got a proverb that talks about these things. You know. So let me see. Where was some other good ones? Words have mana. A lot of people. What about kuleana? So many of you said kuleana. Shall I call you by name, Mr. Lucas? What does that mean? What does kuleana mean? Maybe you didn't use that one.
Yeah, I did. I talked about kuleana.
Okay. I wasn't sure whether you.
Like obligation and devotion to a community or.
Why?
That I think I talked about it as like a central part of your identity is like what you can offer to those around you.
Oh, that's right. Oh, I want to jump on that one too. Somebody, Joy, you mentioned something about sense of self and selfishness.
Right.
How does that happen?
Well, I think that most times when we think about what is best for ourselves, we also think that that's selfish to just think about what is best for yourself. And when we think better, like a better life, we think of what's best for our family or what's best for our community or what's best for our environment versus just what's best for us individually, I think.
Okay, and I'm coming right over to Mr. Jensen. Why did you mention kuleana? There's a couple of you that mentioned it.
I see it like giving back, like it's like your duty. The way I see it is like, even though sometimes like things may be inconvenient and not like super ideal, like it's just things that you have to do just because the opportunity or something, it was given to you. So it's like like kind of like a civic duty to like give back.
The Miss Kara, is Kara here? No, okay. She was also, the interesting thing is this, what I want to talk about is, I have a huge obligation to the Hawaiian community. I was getting what would be in today's dollars in medical school, I was getting about $80,000 a year in scholarships, maybe closer to 70,000. Med school is only 25,000. I mean, people were giving me money like it was going crazy. So I owe, because I don't just take things. And you were coached, there's a couple of you that were coached, and you feel like you have an obligation, a kuleana, but at the same time, you have to look at yourself, that sort of sense of self. You need to know what your mana is. That's what I see, the sense of self. Who are you? Where are you from? Who is your family? But in the end, when people have invested in you and your mana is big, that's when you take this hana and you invest it back into your community. Or your other members of your extended family, your teams that you're with, your peer groups. You take your mana, and with that obligation, that kuleana, you're going to bring it back into the system, because then it increases everybody's mana. There was something I forgot to say. I know, Kristen, you were saying about this cognitive, and then Sally, you had said something also about the pandemic. What happened during the pandemic? Wait, where am I? Sally, what happened during what happened during the pandemic?
Oh, I just, I mean, it's just overwhelming and stressful and.
Yeah, you were mentioning that it allowed you to think about things. What was it? Do you remember? I know I'm pulling it right out of the blue. You were saying, let me just lead it, and maybe you could expound on it. You had said that in the pandemic, when everything closed down, you can spend that time to try to meld the rift between body and mind and body. You can meditate on not having the separation that Manu Meyer was talking about, to bring it together. But the interesting thing that you said that kind of shocked me, after you said, during this pandemic, you had this, you could spend that time, you could walk, you could bring your mind in conjunction, in alignment with your body, rather than they're two different elements. But that you said that culture will shape your lives. But what doesn't? What separates culture from your life? Do you remember that? Because that kind of really shocked me when you said that. You said culture shapes your lives, but science will separate culture from your life. Because science is so black and white, whereas culture is very sort of, there's some clear, yeah, it's not, and it's a little bit different for each and everybody. So we got to understand this difference. We got to accept everybody on the terms that they're at. Some won't know anything about culture. That's okay. I know what Cameron on the Big Island, I know what his thing is. I know his deal. And he said, wow, I can't wait till it rains. So he's in Hilo today. I hope it rains. It's going to rain. It rains every day.
I'm sure. It's raining in Kona.
So
I was there. It was sunny, but it was raining this morning.
Oh, so just to be able to connect with something that will be there forever. We are all short term. The Aina is forever. And if we recognize that, like the one thing, I have a difficulty. I do a lot of what I call therapeutic hiking. I have people that want me to take their kids hiking. I have single parents that have kids that want to reconnect. So we go to these cool little places, waterfalls. I bring all the leis. I can send you tons of pictures of mothers that never took pictures with their kids, all decked in leis, beautiful waterfall. I mean, it's a plan. It's part of one of the mentoring things. But the thing is this, what I want you guys to consider with Aina is that the farther into the valley you go, the more sacred the space you are entering. The higher up the mountains you go, the more sacred the space that you're walking into. By names, the names get holier and holier in Hawaiian, if you want to use the word holy, more sacred, more sacred. Like this space I'm standing is Vau Kanaka. This is the place for people. But then you get up to Vau Akua, Vau Lani. So the Vau, the level of the gods, the level of heaven. So it's like church. You might laugh outside the front of church, but when you walk in, you get a little quieter. As you approach the altar, if I can use these metaphors, or not metaphors, but these similes. Is that what I want to say? I don't know the word I'm using,
Yeah.
guys. Yeah, as you get farther into the church, you become more solemn. And that's what I want the kids to do. I want them to know you're getting into space. It doesn't mean you can't be childlike, but it certainly means you're not going to talk crap. It's certainly you're going to watch your words. You're not going to destroy it. You're not going to litter. No way would you ever litter. No. So, and then when we're hiking in these places, if I could hear the waterfall and people screaming and yelling, I know it's a bunch of military dudes or a bunch of tourists, you know. But usually local kids they kind of tone it down a bit, but they have fun. They can have fun and you can have fun. It's not church, but recognize the sanctity and the sacredness of the space and enjoy it for what it is. Let me see. I don't think I have anything. I think that's good enough for today. It's kind of a lot. These notes will be magically transformed. It will look just like this piece of paper. And then I'll put it online with this video. Any questions?
No.
I've been thinking about Mr. Tyler a lot. I do appreciate Mr. Tyler because it's way past midnight for him right now. So the fact that you could still join us, even though you're all the way on the East Coast, I do appreciate it. You guys, you could text me, you could call me if there's any questions you have. But until then, can we meet at this time next Sunday again? We're good with that? Good deal. Do me a big favor, you guys. I know, do I even have one more minute? Just one, I'm going to try this. There's a chat box on the bottom. Get everybody here before you log off. Just chat me your name. Just chat me your name. 1, 2, 3, 4, 12, 13. You know what I see? Like that. There we go. There, like that. And then I'm going to say goodbye to you guys. Not 1 minute passed. Remember that, man. I didn't take it. Not 1 minute passed, you guys. Oh, and I'll grade all your papers as soon as I can. I can't believe I have 16 students, though. Wow. We're rocking. You guys are the best class. We'll talk soon, okay, guys?
Okay. Bye.
All right. See you.
Thank you.
Hey, if you need anything, just hang on. I'll leave my thing on. If you want to have any questions, you can hang out. If not, run away. Tyler, go to sleep.
Thank you.
Okay, guys.
I actually do have a question when you get a chance.
I'm right here. Yes.
Well, it doesn't really have anything pertaining to the course just yet, so maybe I don't know if I should just text you. I am newly going to be teaching the Hawaiian history class.
Woohoo! I've never taken a Hawaiian history class in my life.
Oh, so you would have no.
Well, I don't know. I don't know the curriculum. I mean, let's see. I've done weddings. I've done blessings. I've done exorcisms in Hawaiian cultural protocols. I mean, I didn't learn anything in the classroom. I learned by hanging out with Kumu Lake for 20 years. That's what I know.
Okay.
Yeah, and most of this stuff but if you're looking for curriculum, it's readily available by Department of Ed because it's constitutionally mandated.
Yeah, so I'm a science teacher, but I was part of the whole thing with like Damien we had a kind of crazy president and he fired a bunch of people. And then I was one of the ones that got fired like on June 17th, like
you're kidding.
And then I'm in the AMT to get my science, for my secondary science.
Yes.
And so I got let go, but when I came back, they offered me my position, but they didn't have. I'm teaching one forensic science class, and then I have 4 Hawaiian history classes.
Wow.
But the cool thing is that they don't offer Hawaiian culture or Hawaiian language at Damien. So I'm trying to embed that into the Hawaiian history class.
Oh, just part of it, like a bit of language.
Yeah, like a little bit of like the beginning, I guess, when you talk about the gods and everything like that, because it is part of Hawaiian history. Yeah. I may need to knock on your door or call or text you first.
Yeah. I mean,
help with that.
I mean, at Damien, of course, because it's so Catholic. I know here at Chaminade, it was amazing because Kumu Lake taught at Chaminade, very Catholic, very Marinist Catholic. And Kumu Lake does not have a difficulty at all saying, I can chant to Kane, Kanaloa, Ku, Lono, Pele, Kamapua, whatever. I can chant to these without violating, this is almost a cognitive dissonant element, without violating my heavy and deep Christian Catholic faith. And it's just, so those kind of elements. So that would be my first concern, that they would say, oh, you're teaching heathen stuff.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, okay.
It's not
As long as
too
I
crazy, because I was baptized Catholic, but I wasn't raised Catholic. You don't have to be Catholic. A lot of the kids that we have are not Catholic. You don't have to participate.
Okay.
But I know prior Hawaiian history teachers have gone in and like done stuff in the lo'i and everything.
Okay, hold on.